And I'm not sure where that has been done before, but then they have to also transform and turn into, this sort of humanoid-esque, character, a robot. And so trying to make sure that you can also do that with the same pieces was where I felt like we broke ground.
For centuries, our kind has stayed hidden on Earth. But darkness has found us again.
Anthony, Dominique, thank you again for taking the time to talk with me. Congratulations on the film. I loved it. It's amazing. I love the energy that you have in the film. I love that your characters are more grounded, and I think they have more layers than other movies, and so I think that's something important. How surreal is to get casted in a Transformer movie?
Wow. To be honest, it was so unbelievable. After I did my chemistry test with Anthony, I felt like so much energy from me, and I said, I think I really got this part. Could I be the girl? Could I actually be? And to be here right now talking to you, sitting next to Anthony about it, it is surreal.
¿Qué tan surreal es para ti decir, ahora soy la voz de un Transformer?
Pues sí, es una locura, ¿no? Porque yo jugaba de niño con los Transformers y se peleaban entre ellos y ahora me toca ser uno. Entonces,
ahora tú estás del lado de los buenos.
Ah, sí. Entonces es muy bonito de esa parte y también me he dado cuenta de lo mucho que significa Transformers para muchos amigos y mucha gente en México en general y ese orgullo de estar también representando un Autobot latino. Que me hayan dejado meterle mucho de quién de quién soy y de dónde vengo y que se sienta muy mexicano el William.
Steven, first of all, congratulations on the movie. I love that. It feels so fresh, and I think it feels so distinct. And I think what makes it distinct is kind of like the music that you use. I think it's amazing. So, was this approach on the musical tone, on the musical direction of the movie, a thing that you intended originally, or was developed through the process of film?
A little bit of, I won't say both, but mainly intended from the beginning, and then we had sprinkles along the way that just as we adapted and changed the story. But for me, in the beginning of any sort of process when developing any film, I usually make a music playlist. For all my movies, I go, what's the playlist that's speaking to me and speaking to the characters? And so it comes from a place of the music I love and motivation. And then when designing a movie, you'll find pockets where something else could work better. I didn't know I was gonna start the movie off with Wu-Tang, Cream. But as we did it, I'm like, wait a minute, he needs to find money, he needs to help his family. And that specific to that era, I'm like, this is the perfect song. And the songs like this we don't get to see in big franchises or here in the movie theater. And that's part of the thing, is being in the theater and hearing Nas's represent, Wu-Tang, all these others, SWV live, and L Cool J, and feeling the acoustics is really cool.
First of all, thanks for taking the time to talk with me.
My
Congratulations
pleasure.
On the film.
Thank you.
But now with the more, I think it has more grounded characters, and also it has a really cool setup with the music. So I wanted to ask you, how was leveling the expectations of the production team and your expectations with the audience expectations for this film?
Well, we have an obligation to the fans after this. They've supported a lot of movies, right? So we wanted to obviously give them a great movie, but importantly, we wanted to give them a lot of new experience. A long time they've wanted us to do the Maximals, so that was one of the opportunities that we found. They're not easy to do. The Maximals, because they need to be in a jungle. They don't necessarily fit with automobiles. How do you make that work? Coming out of the pandemic, we shot this during the pandemic. I think all of our experiences, we all had different experiences going through it, but we went through isolation. And this is a movie about cultures finding a way to get together. And people finding a way to get together. I think of the robots as people, so that's what the movie's about, and it speaks to what everybody's gone through.
Anthony, I think the relationship that Noah has with his brother is so genuine, and you really captured that. I know that you're also a big brother, so how was adding your own experience to your performance?
It was great. I think I connected to Dean's character a lot because, Dean Vasquez, who plays my little brother in the movie. Well, I guess it's there's a bit more of a gap between me and Dean, but me and my brother are 9 years apart, so there's that there is that gap there, but there's that little brother, big brother relationship that I was really excited to bring to this movie, because they're super close and they're tight, and I think they give each other strength, and I think that's kind of how I feel about my brother.
And then Dean in real life just like loved and adored Anthony. Like it was like
he feels like my little brother,
yeah,
for real. Like he even called me recently, like, yo, hey, what should I wear to the premiere?
Oh, he's so cute.
Yeah, so he's like, that's my guy.
That's cool, and he sees you as the hero, right? That's super sweet.
Dean is my hero.
Oh.
All of us. He's so mature. He's just the way he took up space was just amazing.
Hay un momento que me parece muy divertido entre Noah y Will Jack, ¿no? Donde tienen este intercambio. Pero cómo es cada vez conectar con más latinos en esta industria. No solo obviamente con los fans, porque digo, están en México a ver la premiere y todo, pero también con colegas de trabajo.
Sí, es padrísimo, ¿no? Es importante la representación. Esa escena es muy icónica, espero que sea icónica, es muy chistosa en la película, y creo que a través de la comedia se pueden tratar temas muy importantes, pero digo, se están haciendo cambios en cuanto a la representación latina en la industria, pero hay mucho camino por recorrer, y nosotros aquí poniendo nuestro grano de arena, y también yo trato de hacer lo mío con mi casa productora Spectrum MX Films, desarrollando mis proyectos y que se vengan oportunidades y representación en mis proyectos en Guadalajara y también en los proyectos que estoy haciendo en Los Ángeles, entonces poco a poco ahí vamos.
I think, Dominic, Transformers is one of the most famous franchise that has their ability to actually redefine its true potential. So how does that relates with your characters finding its true potential?
Well, yeah, at the beginning of the film, you meet her, and she is she's doing well at her job, but her boss keeps taking credit for it, and she doesn't have a voice enough to speak up and to fight for herself. And then she gets the opportunity to fight for everybody else, and in doing that, she learns how to fight for herself as well.
And also, I think on the visual effect part of this movie, how do you innovate on a movie franchise which, if you see the originals, they have preserved really well digitally and VFX speaking?
Yeah, for us, I think with the originals, we followed the same model in terms of like we use Weta and we use MPC in terms of visual effects houses, and we shot in real locations to make everything feel real. Something that I did differently was I try to carry over like more of a gritty beat up robot. So if someone got beat up as a robot when they turned into the car, you would see some of the dents, and vice versa. Like if the car got hurt, when he turns into a robot, you'll see it. And then usually in the other films, they were always just polished and clean. So that was different stylistically.
You were like, when does this happen in the movie?
Yeah,
so they started with the polish.
But it just adds something to it. It makes you think we did something crazy visual effects world, but it was really just adding texture to it. And the same with the Maximals. We've never seen this sort of robot alien that has animal qualities and textures to it, and then at the same time Transformer DNA, where you feel the robot and the pieces in between. So like it was tough to try to find the hair and the right texture to his I'm looking at his images right now, but his shoulder pads and things like that while finding metal. And I'm not sure where that has been done before, but then they have to also transform and turn into, this sort of humanoid-esque, like, character, a robot. And so trying to make sure that you can also do that with the same pieces was where I felt like we broke ground.
In particular, the animals are very difficult because you have to do something which is not easy to do, and they have not done a lot, which is, Primal's a great example. Is he's got hair, he's got skin, but he's metal. So like, how do you make that feel not fake? And it was really hard. And Cheetor was really hard. I don't know why, but Cheetor, there was something about the color in visual effects that kept making you think that looks fake. It looks fake, So we kept working on it. That's where the technology really had to push. They really did, and they did a fantastic job.
Ha habido un gran camino recorrido, sé que el camino que también te espera es un gran camino, y has explorado diferentes partes, ¿no? Desde tu productora, productor, director, actuación en tu idioma, o sea, en tu idioma nativo, en otros idiomas, sé que eres políglota, pero ahora, ¿cómo fue hacer actuación de voz? O sea...
Sí, pues es algo distinto, actuar voz, te da más libertad de hacer y decir y hacer y intentar y moverte, y está chido que se captura también un poco de lo que uno hace. Fue una experiencia muy padre, muy distinta, y pues muy agradecido con Steven también, que te digo, me dejaron conservar expresiones, maneras de hablar y decir, mías, de mexicano y sí, estuvo muy chido la experiencia y espero se abran más oportunidades también en ese ámbito de voz, de animación.
Oh, no, it's great. It feels amazing. Like, it's just cool to be able to have a line like that. Like, I think it was the one, Yo Papa, where you from?
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
oh, Cybertron.
Yeah.
You know, like having a moment like that
Yeah.
is great for me. Even him still saying it in his accent, like, yo, Cyber. But it just feels like you just feel connected to these huge, larger than life characters, and it just makes it more personal, you know, especially as a Latino person.
Transformers has been one of the first cinematic universe, like the old movies, but after time passed and we have more cinematic universes, how did your approach was different for creating more this new wholesome or robust universe?
Yeah, I think it was just stepping outside of what we always know, which are the Autobots and Decepticons, and saying there's more factions out there, bigger villains and things like that. We have Cybertron and we have the Transformers and the Autobots, but you know, when you see the Unicron is here, you go, okay, now there's Terracons and now there's Maximals. What else is out there, you know? But I wanted to set the stage so it's like we understand there's different planets and that they have the ability to travel. Now with the key, there's ways to get there. So like, I feel like that separates it from, you know, the other Transformers movie at least. But if you watch some of the cartoons, especially the ones, the Japanese ones, in the comic books, they do that. They travel more to the planets and stuff, which I think is pretty cool.
The thing about that we have always done is we keep trying to expand it. This case, we expanded a lot by adding the Maximals, but we also promised something at the end that we are going to expand again. But I think in many ways, this is an underdog story.
Yeah.
And funny enough, not only are Anthony and Dom underdogs, Optimus is an underdog. And that's the way I think the world has expanded in here, is you get to know an Autobot in a way you've never experienced it before, especially Optimus, right?
Yes. And you introduce like new characters that we haven't seen before.
Yes.
Are, I think, more also special as Bumblebee and all of them. So congratulations on the film. Thank you. You all have been so kind, and again,
my pleasure.
I hope to see more of these universes.
Great, we do
I'm
too.
excited.
We do too. We do too. You know what? We feed off people's excitement too,
Yes.
Especially for this kind of film. It's really about the fans' experience and the fans' joy. And if we don't do that, we've let our fans down, but also for ourselves, then we're less excited.
I'm so excited for what's coming. Steven, you're so kind. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you.